Everybody, it's Joe
and Doug
coming to you live from the new GotBaseballCards studio. And today we have a great opportunity to talk to you about PSA grading. We just had a couple drop off a loaded shoebox with some 1956, sweet 1956 Topps. Doug, what did you think first time you took a look at them?
Well, they're so nice. Every major star seems to be in the box. The condition is very good. It's as if you had bought a pack of 1956 Topps and opened it and brought them into our store. It was really nice. Did you know what else was in there though, Joe?
Yeah, and there's also a really nice Michael Jordan rookie.
What?
There's a Michael Jordan rookie card. There's a 60 Clemente. Few modern, some Griffey rookie, upright Griffeys.
You had me at Michael Jordan.
I figured I would. And so, and this is a perfect example of what we do every day. This customer brought his cards in. He actually had set up an account with PSA and then said he just didn't feel comfortable trying to figure out the values and how to send them and how to keep up and all the different things that are involved, which is what we're here to do. So Doug spent time going through the cards with him. I spent time going through them, and then I finalized and whittled it down to what we actually recommended grading, because he had a lot more cards with him that we eliminated. So we're going to show you a little bit of the process, how it works when you drop off cards, what happens after that step. This customer, I told him he had cards at all different price points, so we're going to have to do the math, break it up by all the values, and let him know his total, grading total, once we determine the values and the, what we project him to grade, and therefore what the values will be, and so forth.
How do you know what the values are, Joe?
Well, typically we start with, for instance, most of these are near mint, really clean. So we typically start with a near mint book value, like Beckett. And we also can reference eBay completed sales on raw card values. The one thing we have to keep in mind, as I just told our customer, is that, for example, you're going to see, a sweet 60 Clemente, which lands in our grading service tier at $30 a card, which is $100 to $500. However, if it were to grade an 8, it's a multi-$1,000 card. So
he's going to be mad if it grades high?
He said, I'm happy to pay upcharges.
Okay, all right. So that's what I want to hear, because that is what you want. You want upcharges.
Yeah, so that's a good sign that the card graded higher than expectations, beyond the price tier that we projected it at, and PSA does sometimes upcharge us on the back end on high grades. And so we do our best to figure it out for you, figure out what level it should be sent on. And then once the grades come back, we see what the billing is, if there's any changes. Yes,
I have a question.
I see that hand.
Let's say you put it on the $100 to $500 invoice and it grades really low. Do they give you money back?
Unfortunately not.
Oh.
So
sorry.
So if you, because the other thing you got to keep in mind, depending on what level invoice you pay for, also determines the speed of service.
That's true. So you do get a benefit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So enough talking. Let's show you some cards. So again, I started sleeving a few of them already, but we have lots more to go through. You can see the fun we had when they came in. A lot of these are in old school screw downs, and when I mean old school, these are like when I was a teenager, like literal four big fat plastic screws that just hold the plastic together. So different from the one-touch magnetics we use today. So that's as you can see, gorgeous 56 Willie Mays. As I told him, this one has a good shot at being upcharged because it's got a really good shot, I think, at least a 7, well centering. So we're gonna.
So what we do is we carefully remove your card from its holder. So this takes a little while. So while I'm doing this,
I'm going to go ahead and show off some others that I already took care of. Before we started the film shoot, I sleeved a few of them just so we'd have these ready to show you. Check out 56 Mays, 56 Elston Howard, beautiful second year Koufax, second year Killebrew. Here's that 60 Clemente I told you about. And then we've got a lot more 56s here. We've got Campanella, gorgeous third year Hank Aaron, Bob Feller, one of my favorites, Pee Wee Reese, right after their championship year, the year before. Second year Clemente, Warren Spahn, greatest left-handed pitcher ever with 383 career wins. So we're gonna pull those off.
All right, back over to me. Getting close. These little plastic screws are very difficult.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to. When they put them in those things, they were meant to stay. So they used to have a pile of those. So we lift it, we grab Willie carefully, and slide it into a top card saver. This is what PSA asked us to send everything in. This is a card saver 1. There's multiple manufacturers. That's kind of the industry standard. So we carefully sleeve your card. And we've got another one ready to go.
That didn't take too long.
No.
Actually, it took quite a long time, Joe. That's what takes so long. That's what we do for you.
Now we're moving up to the biggest in the box in the 56 set, a sweet 56 Mickey Mantle. For those who don't know, 56 is such a classic. Do you know why, Doug? Putting Doug on the spot here.
Let me think.
Little baseball trivia.
Because it's the first horizontal card?
No.
No, because I know Bowman had horizontal
Because of what
cards.
happened in his career that year.
Was he MVP?
I believe he was, but he was also Triple Crown winner. So
Very good. Very good. Was that, do you know if that was his first?
I believe first and only.
These metal screws are a little easier. Little few more revolutions.
All right, we're gonna slide Mick off. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous card of Mantle, showing him jumping up in the, looks like to rob a home run. Of course, the facsimile auto. Big money card, big money card.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Now, this customer also brought in some modern as well. So we receive cards in all kind of holders. This is a, let's slide over. Here's a really scratched up case of a Mark McGwire rookie. And then we've got that's a really old school one. Let's see.
Backside.
Yeah. Putting Doug to the test today and give him every kind of holder possible to pull out. But that's what we do. We don't tell you to have to handle your prize cards. That's our job. So
what about, Joe, what about this little spot right back there on the back of that card?
Yeah, let's take a look. If that does not come off, we're probably going to reject this one. Yeah, we would. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that old case. But
We'll still stick it in this for safe keeping.
Yeah. And I'm going to put it in backwards, so we are aware that this one was rejected, and we're going to give this back to the customer and won't bill him for it. Because as we go through this process, when cards are in these thick cases, it'll often hide the flaws. And so when we, especially, not so much in this instance because I just looked at the fronts for him, but sometimes you'll catch a little crease, you'll catch a little scratch, and so forth. So that's part of the process we go through here. We eliminate cards that are not worth grading based on condition.
So if that customer had sent his cards to PSA, how much would he have paid to have that card graded? How much do we charge?
Yeah. This is in the modern tier, which these are $16. Which a high grade McGwire, even a 9 can be a few hundred. So, but we're going to be saving him that $16 and no charge.
And how much are you charging him for doing that right now?
We don't charge anything for pre-screening. It's one of the services we offer because we appreciate customers using our services, and so we do not charge for that. So whether you've got 50 cards like this customer or whether you've got thousands, we provide that service to you.
And I wanted to say that it may look like Joe and I are handling these extra careful for the camera, but this is the process that we go through. We are extremely careful with your cards. Your cards are your treasures, and we are collectors. We understand. How about this line running across here, Joe?
That's actually every 56 Williams I've handled, I believe, has that. So it is just a part of the card. It's not an extraneous print mark. That's just how they came. So I don't, not that I've handled hundreds of them, but I have had a few, and it's very common. So considering it is a very high dollar card, we would allow for that even if it were an additional issue.
I hope that the audience that's tuning in understands how much Joe knows and how much it helps all of us here. It's when you have that type of knowledge, it just saves everybody time, and it's very valuable to the customer. It's very valuable. So thank you, Joe.
Sure thing. Coming up on one of the other keys, the 56 Williams. I believe it's card 5, if I remember. Wow, it actually is. Sometimes it's scary, some of the things I remember about these cards, but I've had a lot of them over the years. So check out that beautiful Ted Williams. And again, this customer actually has almost an entire set. So I told him, this is another good topic of conversation. I told him, you brought us your stars, bring us your commons, because there are plenty of commons. If they grade well, then they will also be, here's a beautiful Aparicio rookie, 56 Aparicio rookie. We'll pop that one out. And so he's going to be bringing back all of his commons and minor stars from the set. He's also going to be bringing in a huge collection of memorabilia for us to have authenticated. We're going to have Beckett Authentication Services come out and do an on-site authentication for him. He has a huge collection of autographed bats and balls, so another service we offer. But again, sticking on the topic of the cards, this is an Aparicio rookie. I think a very underappreciated star from the 56 set. Still very affordable. This one may not be real affordable though, because it's going to come back very high grade, I believe. Now, as I mentioned, not only did he bring in some beautiful 56s and a few modern, he brought in the most sought after modern card that's widely distributed, Jordan rookie. So my first question whenever someone brings in a Jordan rookie, before I've even looked at it for authenticity, is like, so you got the rest of the set, or do you have any more? Because invariably what we've learned over the years is that when a customer says, oh no, that's my only card from the set, very often it's counterfeit. And so I was relieved, before I even examined it to check for authenticity, is he said, oh yeah, I've got the entire set, I bought it years and years ago. So I was relieved. And then also, as you notice, this one is off center, left to right, and top to bottom. Most of your counterfeits out there are really well centered, because if you're gonna counterfeit it, I guess the counterfeiters figured, might as well make them look perfect.
Counterfeiters figured.
Yes, they did. That's a good tongue twister for the day. So, but this one is probably, I told him it's probably like a 5 or a 6 with the centering issues. Still a card, still going to be worth $1,000 to $2,000. So.
Yes, this is very exciting, and I'm also extremely nervous right now.
So Matt asked a question in the live chat here. He asked, can we bring cards up to get them screened any day?
Yes, Matt. Tuesday through Saturdays here at the shop, noon to 4. it's good to make an appointment. Today we were inundated with drop-offs at the same time, so it's good to make an appointment. But you can email us you can message us here on Facebook, or you can send us emails on GotBaseballCards at Gmail, and I set up appointments through that email, and I will be happy to meet with you and pre-screen.
Be careful, Joe. Nobody say boo.
That's right. One more Jordan, safely sleeved, ready for PSA. I think we've done at least, I don't know how many, 25 of these this year.
Really? This year? I remember a 9.
Yeah, we've had a couple of 9s.
That's awesome.
A couple of customers get 9s, and unfortunately, we've had a couple that were altered. We haven't had anything counterfeit because we've caught those on the front end, but this is one of the most altered cards in the hobby, and we've caught some of them, but PSA is very, very strict on grading on these. Sometimes the slightest little variation. We had a customer get one back. Card was completely there, measured full, but he had had it tightly in a screw down for decades, and because of that, he had pressed the card so much it had basically over flattened the card, and sadly that gives the appearance that someone tried to alter it to make it look cleaner or flatter or sharper, so they didn't grade it. So customer was disappointed, but that's why the Jordans bring the big bucks when they are graded, because they are very, very careful to look at them. So let's move on to some more of these gorgeous 56s. One of my all-time favorite players, Jackie Robinson. Beautiful card. Jackie, of course, this was a follow-up. The Dodgers of 55 won the World Series, and so this is a card that would have been, the artwork done for this card would have been done in that championship season. Dem Bums, as they were called, but the 55 Dodgers, great team in history, in baseball history.
And you know why they're called the Dodgers, or the Brooklyn Dodgers, don't you?
Yeah, I do, because they were dodging the subway. Is that correct?
Well, back
Something
then
like
it was a trolley. They
trolley,
were the
trolley, yeah.
Brooklyn Trolley Dodgers to begin with. And then they shortened it to Dodgers when they moved. Well, they shortened it to Dodgers in Brooklyn, but they kept the name when they moved to L.A. That looks
I guess you don't really dodge a subway, do you?
You better hope you dodge a subway, but that really looks centered so well, Joe. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this one's got a really good shot at an 8 or 8.5 even, which is big money. And as I told the customer, I said, you're probably going to expect some upcharges. Like, we're going to bill it out based upon raw value, but if these grade really high. And the thing about the 56 Topps, if any of you are sitting out there with a collection, the ones that grade in that 8+ range on your stars can be any of them can probably be in the thousands. I don't have a guide in front of me. I know Robinson is, but just beautiful cards.
Are there any rookies from that year that we have to grade?
Well, the Aparicio that we just went through, the bigger keys in this set are the second years of Clemente, Koufax, and Killebrew. So. And a lot of great third-year cards. Like we got Hank and Ernie.
Mm-hmm. They were both 54?
Yeah. If y'all have any other questions, those of you who are watching live, we'll be happy to assist you in real time and answer your questions.
So Matt did ask another question. He asked, are the cards that are inside the first edition of Sports Illustrated also 56 cards?
I believe those are, I'm pretty sure those are 54. I actually have one of those issues in my own collection, but the best I recall, they're all vertical. I'm pretty positive those are 54s. So you can probably Google that, because I don't have my issue in front of me, but they were not 56s, no.
55s were sideways too, right?
Correct. Yeah, pretty positive that was 54s. Unfortunately, they didn't stick Hank Aaron in there, but.
Got a slippery one there, Joe.
All right. We will slide Mr. Ernie out and then get him.
Now, do you notice any marks or anything on the surface there?
We've got a tiny little wear on this bottom edge.
Right in here, I see a little tiny dimple,
Yeah.
but very hard to
Very
see.
minimal. So beautiful, beautiful 56s. Again, we have, at the same time these were being dropped off, another customer's dropping off a pile of modern cards for pre-screening, which we're going to get to. One of the other classics, the 56 Yogi Berra. I hope all of you are as impressed with the condition of these, because we were just blown away. We talked to the customer about buying them, and he said that he really wanted to grade them first, and so he is submitting them for grading, and then once they're back, we will be discussing with him the possibilities of purchasing based upon the graded card value, or he also talked about he might turn them over to our consignment division, where we would auction them off for him as well, because he's got quite a chunk of change here in these 56s. Just as a reminder for those of you who are watching, next week I'll be attending the Industry Summit, and we will be bringing you real-time updates from that virtual event with breaking news from the hobby. So looking forward to meeting with the manufacturers. So beautiful 56 Berra. Always a joy to handle cardboard treasures like these. So again, Roy had some other modern. We've got, these are not big dollar, but in tens, they can be. They're still very, very sought after. Griffey rookies, had a couple of those. 90 leaf Frank Thomas. But lots of gorgeous 56s.
Yeah, I've been collecting cards for a long time, Joe, and the centering on these 56 cards, they're never that centered,
No.
especially for all of these are so nicely centered.
Yeah, these did not come from popping packs. I asked him, was this a childhood collection? And he said these are actually ones that he had bought up individually over the years. So, still remember these well.
A little grimy, Joe? Anything with that surface condition?
Yep. And see, this is another example. Once it's pulled out of the case, you can see things. I don't know if the camera can catch all that, but there's definitely some splotchiness in the surface here. So we're going to eliminate this one and give this back to the customer, because I believe PSA is going to downgrade this one because of the very, very light surface wear. In the case, it looked great, almost perfectly centered, but you've got a little bit of surface wear, so that's going to eliminate that one from grading. So that's 2 rejects already, and we've still got several more to go through. We've got, this is, customer brought in with that, again, brought one card in a regular old top load. So we will pull Mr. Bauer out. That is just stunning. These are, I said these didn't come from popping packs, but they do look pack fresh. Beautiful 56 Hank Bauer. Not one of the biggest Yankees, but still very popular.
Joe, you slide those cards in like it's butter.
Yep.
But I know a lot of people that are they don't like doing it. Can you give any tips and tricks for our customers if they're using semi-rigids?
Yep. We'll take this Griffey as an example again. So here it is loose. This is my methodology that I've developed over the years. I actually brace the card against me with my left hand, open the lip with index finger, and then slide the card in to give the opening, then shift.
Are you squeezing a little on the side?
It's just a hair.
Just a little.
Just a hair.
Just a little.
So it's just a technique developed over time and doing it hundreds and hundreds of times a day. As you know, with the thousands we go through.
What if I want to put it in a penny sleeve first? Is that acceptable for PSA?
It is. With 56s, of course, these are oversized. These are larger than your standard 2.5 by 3.5, so we don't use penny sleeves on those because they're not fitted. Typically on your rougher cardboard stock, there's not a need for it, and in fact you run a greater risk of damaging the card if you're trying to cram it into one. The only time I really recommend the soft sleeves as an addition when you're sending for grading is when it is a chrome stock card, and the reason is there's always that chance that you slide a chrome card into a semi-rigid and there's that tiny speck of dust, and then that can create a scratch. So we do soft sleeve all chrome cards when we send them out, but your paper stock cards, you're usually good to go, especially your vintage Topps. I believe it's better to go without them as long as they're handled carefully, which is, of course, what we do. And so, again, if you're watching, or if maybe you've got a friend with a big vintage collection, if you have not heard just how strong the vintage card market is, another Wagner record was just set, I believe, last week, another over $3 million sale. And so, we're gonna stop on these for now because we've got customers to get to. But we just wanted to give you a little example of the PSA grading process, how it starts. Might start with a shoebox in your closet. You bring it in, we pull them out, we pre-screen, we send them off. Our next step after this, once they're all sleeved up, is we will be breaking it down by value price points for the customer and then billing him, sending them off to PSA and hoping for the very best. Doug, you have any other ideas, questions that you hear from customers about grading we could touch on today before we close?
Well, I can't emphasize enough that we're really good at what we do, and I'm not being arrogant, but you want someone that is really good at what they do when they're handling your cards. And got some really talented people here that have unbelievable eyes. Honestly, I mean, it takes a special person to be able to catch some of these flaws. And if you are considering it, you wonder if it's worth it, authenticating your card through PSA, it just makes me, even though I'm not selling my cards, I like having them in the slab. I like knowing that it's a 9, even if it's not a 10. I just really like that. So I encourage you, come by and see us. We're doing curbside. We'll come out. You can hand us the box of cards. We may say, like most of the times, you know, those 1992 Fleers just aren't the cards that they used to be, but we'll be happy for free just to give you some advice.
Yeah. So again, we're still open curbside service noon to 4, Tuesday through Saturdays. If you need to drop off cards for grading, of course, if you're tuning in around the globe, you can shop with us 24/7 at GotBaseballCards.com. And if you have any questions about the hobby, about grading, about new products, old products, whatever, you can message us. You can send me an email at GotBaseballCards@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to answer your questions and assist you any way we can. So tune in, share with your friends, and be back next time at the Got Baseball Cards studio. And thanks for watching today.
Thank you.
See you soon.